Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome, how are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Do my Filipina wife and I spend too much time together? No one has suggested to me that my wife and I spend too much time together, but once in a while I think about that. I know many people want to get married but aren't so keen on moving so far away from some familiar activities after they do. I had been told by someone when I met my wife online that he thought we were spending way too much time just chatting, about 4 hours a day, and I disagreed with that. I can rationalize the amount of time we spend together now that we are married, and besides, together is my favorite place to be. After 6.5 years of marriage and growing this relationship, I cherish it and her more each day. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea. I will share musings like this and thoughts on aspects of the journey of a foreigner seeking a Filipina to marry. I believe I can help from my experience. Go ahead and leave a comment. Don't forget to get notifications for upcoming videos. I've been in a slump, I don't mind saying. I think I've had like 1 subscriber the last 21 days, and I believe this channel is better than that. So if you're looking for real advice on how to have a real marriage to a real Filipina, something that will last, I recommend subscribing here. Well, let's talk about the idea of how much time you maybe should spend with your Filipina once you are finally able to be together, as in our case with her having immigrated to America. I think I do spend a lot of time with her, and I wish I could spend even more time so we could experience different things with the time I have left. Sometimes people have concerns about two people spending an inordinate amount of time together. They say, you have to have a life of your own. You have to let the other person have a life of their own. I think the dynamics of seeking and finding a wife in the Philippines require more time spent together once married than maybe normal. Here are some reasons why. First one I'll mention is she is a fish out of water. The Filipina will feel out of place, maybe more than you realize, when she immigrates to be with you. She won't know where anything is. You will be able to show her special places to you, and the places she will be seeing a lot of, such as grocery stores, the mall. You'll need to find her a physician, dentist, every place that you go to. And she will have to get used to different people. She won't have any friends, most likely. She might be unfamiliar with the currency, probably. All of this makes her feel very insecure in this new environment. She will need to spend quality time with her husband for as long as she needs to get adjusted. I did have the pleasure of meeting my wife in the Philippines. I met her friends and family. We got married in front of them. Initially, I thought about the fiancé visa so that I didn't have to spend the time and money to go to the Philippines and we could get married here in the States, but I'm glad I didn't, because I would have missed out on learning what I did about the Philippines, especially where my wife lived. That at least gave me some perspective on her life, which I would have regretted not experiencing. At least I had a head start in trying to see things from her perspective, and that is a good thing to do for your marriage. That helped me to be able to sympathize with her and maybe anticipate how she might struggle early on. I can't imagine what it would be like to not have been in the Philippines first back in 2015. Some men don't meet a woman to marry in person until they have immigrated, unless I misunderstand fiancé visa rules. They might make the mistake of thinking the Filipina has put her life in the Philippines in the rearview mirror and is elated to get started overseas. I don't think her adaptation is going to go well if her husband doesn't spend quality time with her for as long as she needs him to. This is especially true if her husband is still working full-time. He would do well to put some of his own things on the back burner for a while, and of course, take a long vacation with her. If you marry her 1 year and spend a lot of time there getting married, and then she immigrates the next year, you might want to save vacation for when she gets here. Also, you are her best friend in her new country. She will be keeping in touch with her family a lot early on, and she should, but the rest of the time she needs her foreigner husband to be with her and to not force her to get with it now that she is away from home. You want her to make friends eventually, but she might be in a state of shock for a while, especially if the weather is a jolt to her system. Here again, other relationships need to take a back seat for a while. Being single was a time to find a woman, but now, being married is a time to make her introduction to your country a good one. That includes introducing her to all of your family and speaking well about her. She will rely on you for a while. My wife didn't find a job right away, so early on she was in the apartment we had at the time by herself when I was at work. At some time in our morning, her friends and family in the Philippines would be going to sleep, so there's a huge gap where she had to find things to do. Because of the time zone difference, the best times for her to speak to her family would be in the morning and their evenings. To me, that tells me that I need to spend quality and quantity time with her when I am not at work. That's what we did then, and now I am retired. And she won't know how to drive when she gets there. She will want to see everything that is in her city, and I will need to be the one to help her. It will be very frustrating to her if I'm not there for her when she needs me. She isn't just going to be content to be overseas. She married me, and I will need to be her chief companion until she makes friends. Also, she hasn't had time to learn new things. I mentioned this in the last point. The good thing is by helping show her around or explain anything that is new to her, that means I get to spend time with her. That can sometimes be a little frustrating because you're not used to doing that, but for her sake, I need to be patient and show her that I'm happy to help her learn the things that she needs to learn. There is so much for her to absorb in a new country. If she's eager to see things, then I would try to accommodate her. If she needs more downtime, then allow her downtime. You will need to explore things to enjoy together. Here's where it gets exciting. You may not have a lot in common, that's possible, but now that you are together, you can look for activities that become a common interest. My wife says she likes plays, like theater plays, live plays. So we went to an outside theater and saw The Little Mermaid one time, and I came away impressed with the production of it. And we enjoyed a nice evening outdoors, doing something she liked to do. And we did it again another time. Another time we went to a local theater for performing arts and saw Cinderella there. It was on the pricey side, and you wanted to dress up a bit. I had never been there before. Again, it was impressive to see the talent and how they changed from scene to scene so seamlessly, the singing, the acting, everything. And then one day, she mentioned Branson, Missouri as a place she thought she might be fun to go to. This is another place I had never been to or intended to be because it was 7 hours away. Being married, though, obligates me to being open to do new things, and being married to a newly immigrated Filipina makes it especially important. We saw the play Moses there, which was spectacular. We went there another time, too, and saw different shows. We had a good time. When she started working full-time, opportunities like this were going to be less available, so I'm glad we took advantage of the time we had. And she won't be employed right away. Just beware that if she is used to being employed, she could get very restless just sitting at home. And there's a high probability she will want to work, and fairly soon. Until then, she will want your attention as soon as you get home. Who knows how long this will last. Make the most of your time you have before she gets caught up in the American way of work, work, work. You put in a lot of time to be with her. I know what it's like going through the immigration process, the costs, the forms, the waiting, not to mention being single for so long. I didn't invest all this into being with her to get her here, then go back to my old way of life. There was a moment this was the moment that I had been waiting for. Working myself 6 days a week, every holiday, weekends, meant we needed to be organized and communicate about what we were going to do at that time. My wife and I are both homebodies, so that kind of worked in our favor. I consider my wife my best friend. She listens to me when I need to pour out my heart about something. All my single friends got married and fell off the face of the earth. She knows things about me that others don't. I want to spend a lot of time with this person that knows me so very well. Being away from each other for 2 weeks while she was in the Philippines a while back, might have been year 3 of our marriage, was really hard on me. We hadn't been apart, to that point. The internet and reception wasn't always that good in the Philippines. She couldn't hear me sometimes. For sure, I won't be taking time with her for granted after that. There's no place I would rather be than with my love beyond the sea.